Well, we got promoted. Had to get a picture of the trophy in my office, didn't I? Now the hard work really begins. Before we go any further, let's have a little look at the end of season review. There were a lot of new faces, and overall the average rating of those new faces was top notch. If we just run down the list, we've got Elliot Forbes, Jack Evans, even Genesini, who came in on loan a bit late, Cassidy, Edwards, Wilson, Biggins again came in late, Ritson, Woods. But on the whole, Elliot Forbes top in the list, average rating of 7.47, excellent. So we made some really good signings, and I think that showed through the season. Few moments to remember. Biggest win was towards the end of the season, the game that we watched, 5-0. Another memorable match, away at 𝐒𝐲𝐻𝐬𝐿, won 5-2. And then goal of the season was 𝐒𝐲𝐻𝐬𝐿, a top draw goal from Magpies central midfielder 𝐒𝐲𝐻𝐬𝐿 as he hits a place shot from 21 metres. And that was in the Nuneaton Borough game where we won 5-2. On the whole, finances looking very good. Sponsorship up slightly to nearly 40,000. Broadcast revenue was slightly down. Corporate and hospitality very slightly up to 25,000. Competition prize money doubled to 36,000 from 17,000 last season. And the matchday commercial and retail was up to 231,000, very slightly up from last season. So merchandise sales, £12,000. We sold 244 shirts. Conor Hall topped the shop. The new lad Biggins proved very popular, sold a lot of shirts, as did Cassidy, Woods and 𝐶𝐸. Not much of a surprise in the favoured tactic for the season. I would say a couple of players in there a little bit of a surprise. Ealing at right wing back wasn't with us for that long. He was recalled by his parent club, mainly because we didn't play him in a position that they wanted us to play him in, although he was really successful for us at wing back. And McGuckin in midfield, who in my eyes was the backup to 𝐒𝐸𝐻, but he did come through with a 6.91. And then if we look at the average ratings through the team, most players got an average rating of over 7. Which I think again backs up why we got promoted as champions. We had a little awards ceremony. Elliot Forbes was star man. He ended up with the Fans Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season and Signing of the Season. Goal of the season was 𝐒𝐞𝐲. Top goal scorer Jake Cassidy with 34 goals. Most assists Liam Edwards. Most Player of the Match awards Elliot Forbes. And the highest average rating Elliot Forbes. Most passes completed per 90 minutes Elliot Forbes. Elliot Forbes was a bit of a star. Record breakers, most goals by a player in a match Jake Cassidy. Most goals by a player in the league match Jake Cassidy. Most clean sheets by a player in the season Melvin Minter. 19 clean sheets. We have had our goalkeeping problems, but I think on the whole Melvin Minter was quite solid. 19 clean sheets in the season. Most Player of the Match awards, Elliot Forbes. Worst discipline, Abdi Sharif. I thought Evans might have been in there, but I think he cleaned his act up a little bit. Youngest player, Francis Wolf, 16 when he made his debut. He actually signed a full contract with us on his 17th birthday, so we've got him for the next 2 years. Highest transfer fee pay, a lofty £6,570 for Scott Wilson. And the fastest goal was by Jake Cassidy, 21 seconds. And a little bit about me. You know I like talking about myself. I got 2 Manager of the Month awards. One in November and one in January. Chuffed to bits. And a statement by the media. Surely dared to dream, and thanks to a great run way back at the start of the season, their promotion dreams came true. Anyway, so although all that was very, very nice, we can't stand still. We have to move forward. We have to strengthen. We have to prepare ourselves for the National League. So that's what we're going to do. The board have sent me an email setting out their expectations going forward. So if we should have a quick look at that. They would like us to play defensively solid football, play possession football, and make the most of set pieces, and obviously work within the wage budget. End of next season, they want us to fight bravely against relegation. I can guarantee that that is not going to happen in a good way, in that we're going to stay well clear of relegation. Relegation is not a word that we want to use. My contract expires at the end of next season. And one thing that we haven't spoken about, there have been 1 or 2 rumours knocking about that the owner of the club was looking to sell. There was very nearly a sale towards the end of the season, but it all fell through. But that's not dissuaded him. So for the foreseeable future, he's looking to sell the club. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll have to see. The players are off on the jollies now. So we have a little team meeting just to thank them for their efforts over the season and just give a little bit of an expectation. Don't want to frighten them to death. I know what, in my head, I know what I'm thinking that I want to do in the National League, but we don't want to frighten the players. So I think we're probably just going to say that we're going to strengthen the squad and hopefully avoid getting involved in the relegation battle. So they all seem quite happy at avoiding relegation. Little do they know, my sights are set a lot higher than that. So we just wave them off now on the holidays. We'll see them back for training in July. Now's the time to start looking at squad depth and players that we might need to bring in to strengthen. Up front, we've got Cassidy and Conor Hall. I think Wright will probably be leaving. If we look at Cassidy, he's 30 years old, but he's got some decent stats, as we've seen this season. 44 appearances, 30 goals, 4 assists, 6 player of the match, average rating of 6.28. I think we'll be looking to try and sign Cassidy back on for another year. Conor Hall is only 25. He's been working really hard. His training has come on leaps and bounds. A lot of his stats are on the up. And if we have a look, 45 appearances, 21 goals, 4 assists, 3 player of the match, 7.19 average rating. If I'm honest, I didn't think he'd scored that many goals. He seemed to have dropped off. But then if we look last season, from 3 games less, he scored 19. And he had a good season last season. I think we'll be signing Conor Hall on again, if we can. Edwards was a bit of a revelation as the attacking midfielder. I think, to be honest, looking through this squad, I'm going to try and sign quite a few of them back on for another year. I've got about 4,000 a week to spare in the wage budget. So we'll have to be careful with their wage demands so that we don't go over the wage budget. But 1 or 2 players will be leaving anyway. I think I'm going to try and play with a slightly smaller squad for next season. The 2 midfield players I'm looking to keep hold of, obviously we've got a save for another season. Biggins I'm going to try and sign on, and I think we're going to try and sign a new ball-winning midfield player. Left wing back, we've got Jack Evans on for another season. Scott Wilson is a very, very good backup. As we can see, he can also play left centre back. He's 6'1". His heading's not great, but I think he could do a good job for us, covering either left back or left centre back. In the centre of defence, I have to say, I think we'll be lucky to hang on to Elliot Forbes. I'll be very surprised if he signs another contract with us. There are 1 or 2 clubs sniffing round, but we're going to do our best. Right wing back, we do need to bring somebody in, so we're looking to strengthen in that area. Minter in goal, I think he's earned himself another season. We'll see how he plays in the National. One thing I would like to see happen, as we're a part-time club, I would like to see a bit of ambition and for us to go full-time, which would help me on the coaching side. It would mean that we could have players in all week for training, which would help immensely. The slight problem we've got is I can't make any board requests, and the reason for that is Ken Wright is continuing with talks regarding the takeover of the club. Until that happens, I don't think I'm going to get my wish. As the season has gone on, I've been keeping you informed of what's been happening with Boston and Gateshead, who went up last season. This is the finishing league table. Look where Boston are. They got relegated. They beat us in the playoff final last season. Gateshead finished 18th. They just managed to scrape through. New scouting budget has come in. We were on well, actually, there was no scouting package at all last season. Basically, our scouting just covered players known to the club staff, which I think you can agree is not great. So with the new scouting budget that I've got, I've now taken us into the next tier, which is scouting. It's the lowest package available, but at least we're scouting players in the lower divisions. Widens our net a little bit. Then we're going to start going through and try and keep a few of the players on. Going to start with Elliot Forbes, see whether he'll sign with us again. So as you can see, his requirements are $350 a week, loyalty bonus of 1.4, 3-year contract. That's interesting. Appearance fee of £70. Clean sheet bonus 50. I'm going to try and knock his promotion wage rise to 10%. So, in theory, he's accepted that. I'm not going to talk you through every single one, but I'll just show you what's happening. I'm just going to go through the team now and see if we can sign the players that I think will be of benefit to us in the Vanarama National. Biggins is being a bit stubborn. Wants quite a lot of money. Got him down to $750 a week. It's going well so far. I thought I had a bit more trouble than this. So there's the first one who's not back contract, Scott Wilson. He's currently unhappy at the club. So it looks like we can't sign Scott Wilson on. So I've spoken a little bit about Ealing, who we had on loan from Tranmere. They took him back because we weren't playing him in the right position. But I thought he played really well for us at wing back. So I've just gone in, put a sneaky offer in for him and see if we can bring him on a permanent deal. As you can see, the bid for Ealing is cancelled. The 𝐄𝐩𝐢 board are not willing to sign players while the club are in the process of a takeover. This embargo will be lifted when this uncertainty is resolved. That is unhelpful, to say the least. I'm trying to build a team here. They want us to avoid, and again, I've said this last season, the unhelpfulness from the board could be a big problem going forward. I can only do my best as a manager, trying to motivate players, getting the right players in, playing the right tactic and getting us promoted and moving us on as a football club. If the board are not willing to back me, I'm saying nothing more, but that is very, very unhelpful. How am I meant to build a football team that is going to survive in the National League? Answers on a postcard. Hitting a bit of a brick wall here. I'm looking at my goalkeeping area. My scouts have come up with a free transfer. Doesn't cost us any money, apart from wages, obviously. But there's no outgoings at all. I've just gone in to try and sign him as a free agent, and I've got the same message again. Cannot sign 𝐒𝐞𝐢. The board are not willing to sign players while the club is in the process of a takeover. It's becoming apparent then that my hands are a little bit tied. I have offered contracts to a number of players and they're letting me do that. So contracts have been offered to Hall, Cassidy, Edwards, Biggins, Assay we've already got, Evans we've already got, Forbes have offered a contract, Wolf is with us for another season, Wilson declined. It's looking like I am going to have to offer one or two more. My goalkeeper position, I'm a little bit unsure about. He's contracted to us till the 30th of June. Might let that one ride a little bit. I think I'm going to offer a contract to Ritson. $375 a week. They all want humongous rises if we get promoted. I mean, I don't think we're going to get promoted, but I would like to think we'll hold our own in the National. But just in case we do get promoted, I don't want to be giving them all a 30% wage rise. More information about the takeover. Surely takeover collapses. Surely investor 𝐒𝐲𝐢𝐬𝐿 has ended his interest in taking over Chorley. The proposed takeover has been rejected by Chorley chairperson Ken Wright. And now we have a personal message from said Ken Wright. I want to thank you for your patience during what has undoubtedly been a stressful time for everyone involved with the club. Talks with 𝐒𝐲𝐢𝐬𝐿 have not gone well, but it would be unwise to rule out the possibility of him investing in the club in the future. The board are pleased to announce that the club is once more in a position to operate in the transfer market. The embargo had been imposed until speculation regarding the recent takeover had been resolved. Few contract renewals coming through now. Very surprised we managed to keep hold of Elliot Forbes. He was a star player for us last season. But he signed a new 3-year deal. Fantastic news. Harrison Biggins has signed a new 1-year contract with us. And Jake Cassidy has signed a new 2-year contract with us. Quite a few of our star players from last season are signing with us again, which is really nice. We've also signed the young lad 𝐿𝐸𝐿, new 2-year contract for him. And Liam Edwards has signed a new 3-year contract with us, the attacking midfielder. And as we continue to sign the good players from last season on new contracts, Lewis Ritson has also signed with us a new 2-year contract. I think most of last year's first team players have now signed new contracts with us, the latest one being Conor Hall. Now that the shenanigans around the takeover I don't think they're finished, but it's all quieting down a bit. I'm going to ask that we go professional instead of semi-pro. It would help me immensely. So I'm going to ask them for professional status. The board will get back to you shortly. And while we're in discussions with the board, I'm going to ask them for more coaches and also for more scouts. That was a quick response. So my coaches now have been increased by 1. The old count was 4. I've now got 5 coaches. Let's see what they said about scouts. They've rejected my scouts. Well, I asked for 3 things. I asked for more coaches. I got 1. I asked for more scouts. I got none. And professional status has been knocked back as well. As much as we would also love the club to be professional, we simply cannot afford to take on the extra costs involved with becoming a full-time club. Okay. The scouts have brought to my attention Ryan Huddart, 26-year-old goalkeeper. I think we're just going to see what he wants on his contract, so we'll just go through the process. He only wants $350 a week, 2-year deal. Fylde have actually lived up to expectations eventually. They've won 3-1 in extra time against Spennymoor in the playoff final, so they'll be going up with us. The season's awards are now being announced, and Jake Cassidy has won the top Goalscorer Award. We picked up Jack Cudworth, 32-year-old goalkeeping coach, significantly better than the goalkeeping coach that we had. So we're really early on in the transfer window, and here's a great example of what it's like managing a club like Chorley, where the expectations are not great and trying to entice players is really difficult. We saw some of this in the last transfer window, but here's a really good example. So Ryan Huddart, you just see me put an offer in for him. It was accepted. We offered him a contract. Gloucester's Ryan Huddart has committed his future to the club by agreeing new terms on a new contract. Huddart rejected the offer from Chorley. I can guarantee that will not be the last player that we lose. And herein lies the problem in trying to build a good team for the National League when you're managing a team like Chorley. Well, this is very nice. Gaffer claims manager of the season. Chorley's 𝐫𝐞 has won the Vanarama National League North Manager of the Season award. Very nice. Chairperson Ken Wright pleased as Gaffer wins Manager of the Season. So he should be. I've filled my new coaching spot. Francis Jeffers, 42-year-old attacking coach. I finally completed my coaching course, my first one. I've now got a Continental C licence. I'm going to knock on his door and ask for the next one now. Another signing has fallen foul of the system. Harry Perrett, who we went in for, has actually agreed a deal with Aldershot. He rejected the offer from Chorley. It's going to be a tough summer. Slightly disappointing this one. I put an offer into Rochdale for the right wing back that we had, Genesini. We had him on loan. They accepted the offer, but the players come back and said, I'm not currently interested in entering into contract discussions. I've not long since signed a new contract. Another one bites the dust. At this moment in time, it looks like we're going into the new season with the team that finished last season. Given the fact that it's looking like it's going to be a really tough summer in the transfer market, I think at this moment in time, we're maybe going to have to go into the new season with last season's team, with possibly one or two additions. At the moment, it's looking unlikely. However, with that in mind, I've given Melvin Minter a new 2-year contract. And also Michael Woods. He's 33, but he adds a bit of experience to midfield. He won't be a regular starter, but we used him to quite good effect last season, so he's got new 2-year contracts as well. I've tried to bring Frank Yealing back in on loan. The players rejected us, so another disappointment. And just like buses, another one rolls in. Signed a 19-year-old centre-back from West Brom. Now, I'm going to struggle with this one. I might have to give him a nickname. 𝐂𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐿𝐵. Okay, let's have a look at his stats. Stats look fairly well rounded for this level. He's only 19. 5-star potential. I think we might have found our second right wing back. Bobby Beaumont Broadhead. Posh name. 21-year-old. He can play at centre back as well. He's got great pace and acceleration for getting up and down that wing. Hopefully, it's a good sign in this one. Well, I thought relations between me and the board were starting to get a little bit warmer, but the next level coaching course has been rejected, so I can't go on that. This season's fixture list has just been announced, and the media have given their verdict on predicted finishing positions at the end of the season. And look where we are. 22nd. Oh dear. We'll be doing better than that. The pre-season team meetings seem to go quite well. Most of the players have come out of it feeling encouraged or content. Well, after many knockbacks and disappointments in the transfer, we finally landed a young striker, Jacob Holland Wilkinson, 20-year-old, 3-star with the potential of being 5. His stats are not too shabby. He's got a 12 for finishing. He could do a little bit more pace and acceleration, but determination of 17. So he can be back up to Cassidy and Hall. This new defender that's come in, I did say I was going to have to give him a nickname. There's no way I'm going to remember his name. I can't get my tongue around that. So we're just going to call him Goo. That's a little bit easier, isn't it? I'm certainly not getting my first choice signings by any stretch of the imagination. I have another one through the door. Cade Craig, 20-year-old centre-back. 2.5 star with the potential to be 5. Quick look at his stats. He's 6'2", 10 for heading, not great as a centre back. Marking of 11, tackling of 10. He's got some quite good physical stats. Mentally, he's quite good. We'll have to see how he progresses. More shenanigans. If this doesn't unsettle the club, I don't know what does. 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 chairperson looking to step aside. Newly promoted 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸 are believed to be the subject of a takeover bid, according to a report from BBC Radio 5 Live. 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸's chairperson Ken Wright is looking to sell the club, and a local investor could be in line to take over in the near future. Spent a little bit of money on this lad, Kane Thompson-Summers. 3-star, potential to be 4-star. Let's have a look at his stats. He's a Mazzala. I think he's got a little bit of work to do, but he's left-footed. We don't have a huge amount of left-footers in the team. So he's left-footed, which is quite important. We'll just have to work on some of his stats in training. Now, this is an exciting one. Picked him up on a free transfer. Luke Robinson, 21-year-old fullback. Coming in as a 4.5 star. Look at his stats. Bit of competition for Jack Evans on that left-hand side. Signed myself a backup goalkeeper. Looks very, very good actually for the future. They reckon potentially Sky Bet League 1 standard. It's got a 5-star potential. Just have a look at his stats. Maybe needs a little bit of work on one-on-ones in training, but other than that, he looks a very, very good prospect. As the season looks to get underway, just have a quick look at the financials. We've got £320,000 in the bank, which is very nice. That's staying quite steady. Transfer budget has dropped now to 4,000. Spent a little bit of money there. We've still got a little bit of money in the kitty for wages. So I've not finished yet. We'll see if we can bring a few more faces in. With the first game of the season now in a couple of days' time, just have a quick look at the business we've done over the summer. So we brought in 𝐿𝐸𝐢𝐬𝐸, Scott Smith, Holland Wilkinson, Cade Craig, Sommers, Luke Robinson and Harvey Davis. The only person we paid for was Sommers from Solihull Moors. I think we might have overpaid a little bit for him, but we'll see how that one goes. The rest of them all came on free transfers. There's not been much on outgoings. Like I say, all our players last season were all on non-contract or 1-year contracts. So Eli Caboose, Adieni's gone out on loan. But Eli and Caboose just went on kind of free transfers, basically. I had a fairly disappointing summer of transfer business forced upon me. A lot of players didn't want to come to us. And that's not really affected the media's prediction for us. We're predicted still to finish in 21st, which is a relegation spot. I think we can do better than that. So this is the schedule for the new season upcoming. We played 4 friendlies. Done okay. The only game we got beat was by Preston. League team. We only got beat 2-1, so that was quite narrow. We've done okay pre-season. So the first game of the season will be Chesterfield and followed by Fylde, who came up with us. Be interesting to see how Fylde do. We seemed to turn a little bit of a corner when we played them last season. That local rivalry that we had against them started working in our favour and we actually beat them. Let's hope that continues. So I haven't ruled out any further transfers yet. I'm still working on 1 or 2 things, but the next episode now we'll come back for the opening 2 games against Chesterfield and Fylde. So we'll see you then. If you've enjoyed that, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time for more from me, the Gobby Gaffer.